Nighttime by a campfire. Fancy a spooky story? All right then, let's see what I can remember. Once upon a time, there was a young Khajiit named Jakalar. He was an inquisitive little kitten, always dashing off on some adventure or another. One day, when he and his family were camping in the deep, dark woods, Jakalar, as he often did, strayed too far from his mother. While he was wandering in the woods, he happened to stumble across a shiny gold coin. Aha, Jakalar thought. A fine treasure indeed. And he picked it up, popped it in his pocket, and turned to head back to his mother. But suddenly, Jakalar realized he didn't know where he was. He didn't remember these woods at all. He looked around him, hoping for something familiar, a tree he recognized or some feature in the bracken to jog his memory, but there was nothing. And that was when the whispering started. Softly at first, distant voices murmuring in the night, too quiet to make out the words. At first, Jakalar was filled with hope. Perhaps his family weren't as far away as he thought. So he headed towards the sound, but as far as he walked, it didn't seem to get any closer. Behind him, a twig snapped. He spun around, but nothing was there. Then, a leaf crunched. He turned again, but again, nothing. And then came a growl, rasping breath right on the back of his neck. This time, Jakalar didn't turn around. He just ran. As fast as his little paws could carry him, he sprinted through the night, and all the while, that rasping breath was right behind him, unseen claws skittering across the forest floor, a looming sense of terrible hunger closing in on him as he fled. Then, disaster! His foot caught on a tree root and he fell, face first into the undergrowth, and in a heartbeat, it was on him. He closed his eyes tight and waited for the end. And waited. And waited. After a while, he opened an eye, and then another. No nightmare beast stood over him, but a man. Jakalar would never remember his face, but only those eyes, cold and empty as the void beyond the stars. He said not a word, but reached out a pale hand, and somehow, Jakalar knew what he wanted. He reached into his pocket and took out the coin. The man's hand closed around it, and his touch was living death. And then a hand fell on Jakalar's shoulder, and he turned to look into the worried face of his mother. "Jakalar, kitten, where have you been?" she cried. "Khajiit have been searching for hours." "This one was with..." Jakalar began, but when he looked for the man, he was gone. As his words ran dry, Jakalar took his mother's hand, and they walked back towards their campfire, and the night watched them go. The end. Was it true? I have no idea. But it's spooky, isn't it?